dastards is on. The NIA, the Army, the J&K Police and all other agencies are working in tandem in full swing to identify, track and punish, as the Prime Minister put it, all of these terrorists. But India is not going to stop at just that. India's aim is to cut off the head of the snake. And to do so, New Delhi is now turning the screws in Pakistan. India is preparing to hit international agencies against this rogue neighbour of ours. After we suspended the Indus Water Treaty, sent their diplomats and their citizens both backpacking, and we also blocked social media accounts of Pakistani nationals spreading misinformation and their propaganda, we're now going to approach all global nations, all of our ally nations, to isolate, to name and shame Pakistan. A panicked Pakistan is going to the United States now. They've approached the Organization of Islamic Cooperation as well. And why wouldn't they? India has made its resolve clear. Not by one leader, or not even just once. The highest political offices in India have sent out the sternest of warnings.
Today, from the soil of Bihar, I say to the whole world, India will identify, track and punish every terrorist and their backer. We will pursue them to the ends of the earth.
मैं इस मंच से देशवासियों को आश्वस्त करता हूं, घटना के मद्देनजर भारत सरकार वो हर कदम उठाएगी जो जरूरी और उपयुक्त होगा। और हम सिर्फ उन लोगों तक नहीं पहुंचेंगे जिन्होंने इस घटना को अंजाम दिया है, हम उन तक भी पहुंचेंगे जिन्होंने पर्दे के पीछे बैठकर हिंदुस्तान की सरजमी पर ऐसी नापाक हरकतों की साजिशें रची हैं। ऐसी हरकतों का जिम्मेदार और इसके जिम्मेदार लोगों को आने वाले कुछ ही समय में जोरदार तरीके से नजर आएगा। मैं देशवासियों को आश्वस्त करना चाहता हूं।
मैं सभी आतंक फैलाने वालों को कहना चाहता हूं कि लड़ाई का अंत नहीं है, एक मकाम है। हर व्यक्ति को चुन चुन कर जवाब भी मिलेगा, जवाब भी लिया जाएगा।
Now, one of its biggest allies, the United States, is firmly in India's corner. Top leaders from the Trump administration have not only condemned the Pahalgam attack, but they've also backed India's fight against terror. Underlining that India's response to last week's attack should avoid the risk of a broader, larger conflict, US Vice President J.D. Vance hoped that Pakistan would work with India to track these terrorists down. He spoke explicitly about how there are terrorists that are breeding on the soil of Pakistan and Pakistan must act against them. United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio dialed S. Shankar. He spoke with Pakistani Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif as well. While he reaffirmed support to both India and Pakistan, he said that steps must be taken to de-escalate the tension and that the onus lies with Pakistan to condemn this Pahalgam attack and to also cooperate with an investigation. US Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has backed India's fight as well. She said that US will support India as we hunt down those responsible. There's a conversation that was held between Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and his American counterpart, Secretary of Defence Pete Hegseth, where they admitted that Pakistan has a history of supporting, training and funding terror organizations. He added that India had the right to defend itself and that the US backs it. The latest statement coming in from the US State Department, the spokesperson Tammy Bruce also reiterated that the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, has America's full support. So the US, whose support the Pakistani administration is also banking on, seems to be, at least as of now, in India's corner. India is taking other ally nations into confidence as well. 2 days ago, Pakistan's Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar gloated how as a non-permanent member of the UNSC, Islamabad had pushed to water down the language in the US proposed statement on Pahalgam, which originally had named the Resistance Front. Now India is building pressure too. External Affairs Minister S. Shankar dialed his counterparts from 7 non-permanent members of the UNSC. During his conversations, S. Shankar thanked all of these countries for condemning the terror attack and for expressing their solidarity with India. But most importantly, New Delhi has also conveyed to all of these nations that our resolve to bring down the perpetrators, planners and backers of this terror attack to justice is ironclad.
We've obviously been in close contact with our friends in India and Pakistan. Our hope here is that India responds to this terrorist attack in a way that doesn't lead to a broader regional conflict. And we hope, frankly, that Pakistan, to the extent that they're responsible, cooperates with India to make sure that the terrorists, sometimes operating in their territory, are hunted down and dealt with. That's how we hope this unfolds. We're obviously in close contact. We'll see what happens.
Now, New Delhi has put in motion the plan to isolate Pakistan globally. And that's not just at the United Nations Security Council. India could be taking this fight to the International Monetary Fund as well. Remember, the IMF bailouts are key to bringing Pakistan back from the brink of economic collapse back in 2023. Their funds, their dolouts are extremely important for Pakistan. In the last 5 years, Pakistan has received several IMF loans. A $6 billion loan was given to Pakistan in the extended fund facility. This was back in 2019. Then a $3 billion standby agreement was agreed upon in 2023. Remember, that was a time when the political crisis compounded an already economic downturn that Pakistan was facing. It drove the nation's debt burden to terminal levels. Last year, a $6 billion loan was approved in September again by the IMF. In fact, just last month, the IMF reached an agreement with Pakistan on a new $1.3 billion loan program. It also reviewed an existing bailout. Now, if that existing bailout is approved, it would unlock an additional $1 billion for Pakistan. It's cash trapped. Its economy is in the doldrums. India could be knocking on the doors of the IMF, making a presentation, giving out a dossier to them that this money or this loan that is being extended to Pakistan is not going to the right use. It is going to fomenting trouble, pushing terror into Indian soil. India is also focusing its energies to economically starve and choke Pakistan. That brings in the Financial Action Task Force. The focus will be to get Pakistan back on the grey list. Now remember, Pakistan was first put on the grey list of the FATF in 2008. It was removed in 2010, put back on the list in 2012, which remained there until 2015. It was placed back on the grey list in June 2018, then again removed in 2022. Countries under the grey list are considered safe havens for supporting terror funding and money laundering. There is a reason why Pakistan was in it. There is absolutely no reason why Pakistan shouldn't find itself back on that list, and India is going to make a case for that. Now, every time Pakistan was removed from the grey list, they had to do so after it showed that they had acted enough. But all of those actions that Pakistan claimed they had taken against terror financing and terror groups were nothing but shams. In 2019, it sought time to curtail these terror activities. Then in 2020, they sentenced Hafiz Saeed to 11 years in jail. But the chief of Lashkar-e-Toiba is in a high-value prison or a home that is his own, is a high-value protectee of the Pakistani deep state. He is being held in a densely populated area in Lahore. There are former commandos from the Special Service Group, additional security personnel that are all deployed to protect him. What kind of jail we wonder that is? In 2021, Pakistan had sentenced Zakir Rahman Lakwi to 15 years. But all reports indicated that LET and other similar groups continue to operate with significant support and protection from not only the Pakistan's military, but also its intelligence services, the ISI. Finally, in 2023, Pakistani Parliament passed a bill to curb money laundering and terror financing. That's how they convinced the FATF to take them off the grey list. Now, with this particular attack and all roads pointing towards Pakistan, will we once again be able to push the Financial Action Task Force to put Pakistan back on the grey list? Now that, combined with the IMF and the meeting of the IMF, which is going to take place on the 9th of May, and all of the diplomatic steps that India has taken and is mulling, Pakistan, as expected, is extremely nervous. From warmongering to praying to finally admitting their own role in backing terror, Pakistan's very own political leaders have exposed them, and how?
Well, we have been doing this dirty work for the United States for about 3 decades, and West, including Britain.
So that's your argument that even though
that was a mistake, and we suffered for that, and that is why you are saying this to me. If we had not joined the war against Soviet Union and later on the war after 9/11. This Pakistan's track record, was not, an unimpeachable track record.
As far as what the defense minister said, I don't think that It's a secret that Pakistan has a past as far as extremist groups are concerned. And as a result of this, we have suffered. Pakistan has suffered. We've gone through wave after wave of extremism. We went through the Islamization and militarization of our society. But as a result of what we suffered, we also learned our lessons. We've gone through internal reforms in order to address this problem, not only for us, but also the concern of the international community.
So let's open this up. Glenn Carl, former CIA officer, is with us on this broadcast. Lieutenant General S.L. Narasimhan, adjunct distinguished fellow with the National Security and a former member of the NSAB, is with us here on this broadcast as well. Lieutenant General S.L. Narasimhan, let me begin by asking you, we've had this multiple pronged approach that we've taken against Pakistan. This also comes at a time when we are mulling several military options as well. That's not off the table. The Prime Minister himself has said that there is a free hand. The Indian Armed Forces can decide the time, the mode, the target of when this is to be done. Visible consequences for Pakistan or retribution is the chorus that seems to be growing in India at least. It's been 10 days since the attack. What, in your opinion, should be the next steps for India?
I think we look at all these. Firstly, thanks for having me on this show. We look at it in four different issues. One is on the diplomatic front, what do you do? The second thing is on the military front, what do you do? Third is on the economic front, what do you do? I think the diplomatic and the effective and the economic issues are already on. In the last 10 days, you have been seeing what you have listed, all of them in your initial remarks. What is now left with is the military reaction that people are actually looking at and talking about. There are actually earlier proof of what we can do in terms of Balakot, in terms of trans-LOC operation that we did, the surgical strikes. Those are actually on the table. In addition to that, there may be many options that could be on the table in terms of higher levels of conventional intervention, higher levels of intelligence-based operations. There are a number of operations are on the table. The government itself has said that nothing is off the table. Everything is on the table. So I think we need to wait, because I think the armed forces are actually, not only armed forces, as you said, armed forces and the civilian agencies, all of them are working in tandem at this point in time. I think we need to let them do their work, and we need to wait and watch as to how things develop from here.
And that's the strategy that India seems to be employing. We seem to be employing the wait and watch approach while we try and choke Pakistan multiple different ways. And that kind of nervousness, that kind of jitters is very visible in Pakistan. But Glenn Carl, we've seen the kind of comments that have come to the fore from several within the Trump administration. All of them have backed India, asking Pakistan to be the responsible party, to cooperate with the investigation and to bring perpetrators to book. But if India were to take the route of a military offensive against Pakistan, is that something, in your opinion, that the United States would back India on?
I think if some sort of a military step were really I don't want performative is insulting. Were a gesture to show that there are consequences, but were limited, then I think the United States would probably support it. I think JD. It's one of the few times I've had agreement with JD Vance, the Vice President, when he said that the United States doesn't want to see India take steps that would escalate the crisis and make matters even worse. The dilemma for India, like for any victim of any state that's a victim of terrorism, is that conventional military responses are the obvious step to take, but really don't address the problem that one is trying to stop. There's no easy solution to this. I think India taking diplomatic, economic, public relations, and military steps is doing all of the things that a state can do. But India doesn't want to make matters worse, and a terrorist attack is bad, but a war and making Pakistan even more dysfunctional it may be worse for India than the benefits that it would derive. So I think the U.S. would probably turn a blind eye or be supportive of a limited gesture type of strike, and certainly would support intelligence operations going after terrorists. but broader than that, I think would become anxious.
What about other global platforms like the UNSC or the IMF? The United States definitely has a pull there. India has been trying to choke Pakistan financially as well. And these two organizations, the IMF, the FATF, they're all going to be extremely important to keep Pakistan in a place where they are, where the decisions that India takes are bound to hurt them. On those platforms, would the United States and should the United States be backing India to show that they have taken a side and taken the right side?
Well, diplomatically, I think certainly the U.S. is showing and would continue to show support for India on this issue and steps that India might contemplate taking at the UN and elsewhere. However, India has the same problem, except that it's right on India's border, whereas the United States is separated by oceans. But it has the same problem that the United States has struggled with for decades with Pakistan. And that is, you want to have Pakistan stop supporting terrorism through its intelligence services and its military. But you don't want to take steps that will make Pakistan even worse, that will anger the population and encourage people to commit terrorist acts. And more importantly than that, Pakistan is on the brink of not being functional at all. And the consequences of a complete collapse of the society and the economy and the government would be worse for India, as they would have been for the United States and everyone, than hideous terrorist attacks, bad as they are. So it's a very delicate line to tread. And there's no one has found a solution to the dilemma.
And that's the most unfortunate bit of decades of not finding that solution, Lieutenant General Narasimhan. What is it that India can do from here on? Well, a war is not something that anybody willingly wants to engage in. But dossier after dossier have been given against Pakistan. Their support to terror groups has been exposed by India on multiple global forums. We've done all we could. And yet, every few years, this is what we get. We get Pakistan backstabbing us, we get Pakistan pushing terrorists into our territory, and we have innocents paying the price for it.
You are very right. And that is one of the reasons why this time around, even the Prime Minister is on record saying, when he spoke in Bihar in one of the meetings, he is on record to say that he is going to chase them to the end of the earth. Even if that is required, it will be done. So I said the reason why is kept my initial remarks in general terms when I responded to your question is basically because there is no one fixed solution for all this. You need to have solutions on all fronts going against this particular terrorist activities from Pakistan. Even if you say that, I'll go and finish off the terrorist camps, another terrorist camp will come up. It is something which, you keep cutting off something, it will keep coming up again and again. So you need to have a constant pressure. You need to have a constant pressure on all fronts. That's why I said diplomacy, information, military, economy, on all fronts. You need to keep this pressure going for a longer period of time to ensure that Pakistan is not in a position to get into this kind of an activity again. But the thing that you said is very important. We do this. For a few years, it remains quiet, and again, it comes back into action. So that is where I think we need to keep our tentacles up, and we need not to lower the guard on intelligence, not to lower the guard on security-related issues, and ensure that such incidents do not happen. I think it is not a one-time solution. It is a long-time, constant solution on all fronts is something that we need to be looking at.
And the other concern is also China, isn't it? China has openly come out, backed Pakistan. That, of course, is of no surprise, Lieutenant General Narasimhan. And if we were to engage militarily much more than what we already are with Pakistan, the risk is also that the other border, China may want to engage with us as well, try and come to Pakistan's rescue, and then that's something that India needs to be cognizant of.
You are very right. There have been, actually, that is the reason why in India we have been talking about this two-front war for the last 15, 20 years. The another thing that you need to keep in mind is, please look at the history. How China has reacted to any India-Pakistan incident or any India-Pakistan conflict, 65, 71, 99, and then later on in 2020, you will get a fair assessment of how China will actually react. However, We need to be prepared for any kind of movement that could take place on the line of actual control against China, and also be capable of handling what we need to handle with Pakistan. And that has been the basis for this two-front war that we have been discussing about for the last about 18, 20 years. And I'm sure the armed forces are very well aware of it. And I think all this has been war game for a very long time at this point in time. I think we will be prepared for anything that could come up on both these fronts.
India is definitely prepared. We've given that kind of messaging. The intent has been made clear. But Glenn Carl, before I wrap this up, I want to ask you the kind of comments that have come to the fore from the Pakistani side. Several of its leaders have come out and admitted that they have a past with extremism, that they have been supporting, backing terror. In fact, one of their ministers came out and blamed the West for it, that it was the dirty job of the United States and nations like the United Kingdom that Pakistan is now suffering for. How do you read that?
Couldn't help but smile when I listened to the two Pakistanis give their explanations or their comments. I mean, they were speaking half-truths that amount to a total lie, fundamentally. One can argue the sociological consequences of the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan and then the American response through Pakistan. And it's certainly true that the Northwest frontier provinces have been a haven for and a breeding ground for all sorts of different kind of Islamic terrorists for ages, which was facilitated by the collapse of Afghanistan. But Pakistan has never been able to control that part of their country, and they have the ISI quite aggressively has trained and exploited the terrorists there before even the invasion of Afghanistan by the Soviets. So that's all a lot of nonsense, actually. I'd like to make one last comment, if I can, quickly.
Yes, please.
I think from an intelligence perspective, and I think from a policy perspective, the approach that would be most sensible for India is the most difficult for political leaders to take, because a political leader has to be shown to be strong and taking action. But a terrorist wants to have you and me talking about them and everyone afraid and the government stirring itself up and taking all sorts of actions. That is success for them. They have succeeded. It would be far better if intelligence officers tracked these people and killed them in the dark and buried them in the rain than having any public discussion whatsoever. At the same time, you have to deal with structural issues, and that's a political issue beyond intelligence. But that's the better way to approach terrorism. But it's almost impossible politically for a leader to do that.
But since it's been 10 days, perhaps that's the strategy that India is employing behind the scenes as well. But I have to leave it there. I thank you, gentlemen, for joining us here and sharing your perspectives. Speaking of what India's response is going to look like, India's forces are ready. All three arms, the Indian Army, the Indian Air Force and the Navy, have all been on guard for the last 10 days, much more than we have seen them in the past. And there is a messaging to be sent out. In fact, as far as boosting India's military prowess is concerned, United States has recently approved a foreign military sale. This is worth $131 million. This is happening to India. The pact is designed to improve Indo-Pacific maritime domain awareness. The Defence Security Council Cooperation Agency, in fact, confirmed that clearance. That press note was put out a few hours ago. The sale comprises the Sea Vision Maritime Domain Awareness software, advanced training modules, technical support services. Now, even though the United States military sale fits into this entire Indo-Pacific strategy, it does have significant implications for India's regional defense posturing, specifically given that it comes at a time amid ongoing tensions with Pakistan. We've seen the eyeball-to-eyeball confrontation that's been happening between the two navies in the Arabian Sea as well. That is for the maritime surveillance and for maritime security and what the Indian Navy would be doing. But the Indian Air Force also showcased its full might today. There was a flypast on the Ganga Expressway here in Uttar Pradesh. The Air Force conducted takeoff and landing exercises on a 3.5-kilometer long airstrip. This was part of an under-construction expressway. This is the first time that an airstrip in the country is designed to support both day and night landings of fighter aircraft. That makes it a strategic asset for defense preparedness. And the message, like I said, the timing of it all is extremely crucial. It is mind games, some would say, but well, that clearly seems to be rattling Pakistan. The highlight of this flypast, of course, was the Rafale. It's equipped with advanced electronic warfare systems, long-range Meteor missiles. They are capable of all-weather operations. It wasn't just limited to that, though. Like the Rafale, the Mirage 2000 is a French origin jet that's specialized in high-speed deep strike missions. It's also nuclear capable. Coming at a time when reckless nuclear threats are being made from Pakistan, this is key. The Jaguar fighter jet in the IAF's arsenal is known as a precision strike aircraft. It's used for ground attack and for anti-ship missions. These fighter jets that are christened Shamsher, meaning the sword of justice in Persian, they've completed 45 years of service with the Indian Air Force. It may be one of the oldest in India's arsenal, but its terrain-hugging flying capability is unmatched. The Sukhoi 30 is a two-seater, twin-jet, multi-role air superiority fighter jet that's developed by Russian aircraft manufacturer. It's built by India's HAL. The aircraft is tailor-made for Indian specifications. It integrates Indian systems and avionics as well as French and Israeli subsystems. Again, that comparison to Israel is being often talked about in the last 10 days in the aftermath of the Pahalgam attack. The MiG-29, that was on showcase today as well. It's known for its high speed, for its high altitude performance and radar evading capabilities. These were used extensively during the 1999 Kargil War by the Indian Air Force to provide fighter escort for the Mirage 2000s, attacking targets with laser-guided bombs. There were several others that were on display too, including a heavy transport aircraft that played a key role in Special Forces deployment. It's needed for disaster relief and for rescue operations, the C-130J. The roar in India's skies today from Uttar Pradesh was loud enough perhaps to be heard by a hostile neighbor. India is ready. Its resolve and strategy to choke Pakistan are on point, but Kashmir is picking up the pieces. 10 days after the Pahalgam attack, has anything changed on ground? My colleague Arunima brings us these exclusive ground reports and voices coming in from there.
जब से यहाँ पे पहलगाम में आतंकवादी हमला हुआ है, यहाँ सोनमर्ग के इलाके में कैसे हालात हैं? आप लोग घोड़ा चलाते हैं, कमाई अच्छे से हो रही है, टूरिस्ट आ रहे हैं, हालत कैसे हैं?
हालात तो बिल्कुल ख़राब लग रहा है कि टूरिस्ट नहीं आ रहा है यहाँ पे। हम लोग तो सब यहाँ पे एक्चुअली तो टूरिज्म के ऊपर है। ये तो असर तो पड़ा है टूरिज्म के ऊपर, क्यों जो यहाँ पे लोग है, घोड़े वाला है, सब लोग है यहाँ पे, हम तो इसी के ऊपर है, टूरिज्म के ऊपर। जब टूरिस्ट आएगा हम भी 10 पैसे कमाएगा।
लेकिन आप लोग भी जाते हैं ऊपर, टूरिस्ट को लेकर तो जाते ही हैं, बट आप में से बहुत सारे होंगे जो यहीं के लोकल्स हैं, आप लोग ऊपर जाते आते रहते हैं, लोगों से बातचीत करते हैं। क्या आप लोगों से भी कहा गया है कि अपने कान खुले रखें, कुछ भी सुनाई दे, कुछ भी पता चले तो बताएं?
नहीं, वो नहीं बताया।
आपको कहा गया है कि कुछ भी आपको पता लगे, किसी भी तरीके की जानकारी हो तो फोर्सेस के साथ, थाने के साथ मुहैया कराई जाए?
अगर पता चले तो हम सीधा जाएंगे पुलिस को या आर्मी को, बोल सकते हैं, ऐसी तो बात नहीं है। जब कुछ होगा तो हम तो खुद भी बोलेंगे, हम भी इधर इसीलिए बैठे हैं।
आप भी अपने कान खुले रखे हुए कि कुछ भी पता?
सब लोग कान खुले रखे, बाकी सेफ है ऊपर, कोई टेंशन नहीं है। सब टूरिस्ट जा रहा है, घूम रहा है, अच्छे से घूम रहा है।
आप देख सकते हैं यहाँ पर बंकरों में स्कूली बच्चे मौजूद हैं, उन्हें यहाँ पर मॉक ड्रिल करवाया जा रहा है और जानकारी दी जा रही है कि अगर किसी भी प्रकार की कोई शेलिंग होती है, गोलाबारी होती है, कैसे आपको बचना है और कैसे अपने जो टीचर जो आपको आदेश देंगे उन्हें जो फॉलो करना है। कुछ बच्चे हैं, उनसे बातचीत करेंगे।
हमें ये बताया गया अगर हम पढ़ रहे हो तो मतलब फायरिंग चल रही हो तो डेस्क के नीचे बैंड हो जाना है, कुछ टाइम मिले तो बैंकर में आ जाना है।
Now, India is preparing, but what is Pakistan up to? Is the Pakistani Army Chief Asim Munir missing in action? There are reports that suggested that he had fled the country. That sparked memes on social media. But are those reports true? We decode for you.
In the midst of escalating tensions between India and Pakistan, one name has been making headlines for reasons other than military operations. Pakistan Army Chief General Syed Asim Munir has found himself at the center of widespread speculation after his sudden absence from the public eye. Following the tragic attack in which 26 people lost their lives, rumors began swirling that General Munir had either fled the country or was hiding in a bunker, leading to widespread online chatter. As the hashtag #MunirOut trended on platform X, the buzz only grew louder, raising questions about the army chief's silence amid one of the most volatile times in the region's history. Unconfirmed reports suggested that the army chief may have gone missing in action after India's diplomatic offensive, which saw the suspension of historic Indus Water Treaty along with a range of other retaliatory measures. To counter the growing rumors, the Pakistan Prime Minister's office took swift action. On April 28, they shared a photo of General Munir with Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif at a graduation event at the Pakistan Military Academy. The photo, taken on April 26, showed Munir seated next to Sharif, accompanied by the caption, Prime Minister Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif, Chief of Army Staff General Syed Asim Munir, and officers of PMA Kakul in a group photo with graduating officers of the 151st Long Course. This image, intended to clear the air, only sparked more questions. The exact timing of the post, along with the mention of the date, led some to question its authenticity. Was this an attempt to silence the growing rumors or just another chapter in the ongoing tension between the nuclear powers? General Munir's silence has drawn even more attention when considered in light of his recent comments. Just days before the Pahalgam attack, he had publicly stated that Kashmir is Pakistan's jugular vein, emphasizing its importance to the country. As these online discussions swirl, tensions between India and Pakistan continue to escalate. India has taken decisive actions, including downgrading diplomatic ties, closing the Wagah-Atari border, suspending the Indus Water Treaty, and suspending all visas for Pakistani nationals. These moves come after claims that Pakistan-based terror groups, including the Lashkar-e-Taiba-affiliated Resistance Front, were behind the brutal Pahalgam attack. In this charged atmosphere, General Munir's absence in the media has become more than just a question of his whereabouts. It has become a symbol of the deepening divide between the two nations. As tensions mount, the truth behind these rumors remain unclear. Will General Munir reappear to quell the speculation, or will the questions about his disappearance continue to fuel an already volatile situation?
Shifting focus on this edition of Brass Tacks, Karnataka's Mangaluru is on the edge after the brutal murder of Suhas Shetty, a rowdy sheeter, main accused in a 2022 high-profile murder case. He was hacked to death by a group of unidentified assailants who intercepted him a little past 8 p.m. yesterday. They dragged him out of his car, attacked him with machetes, inflicting grievous injuries. The attack was captured on CCTV. It has now sent shockwaves not just across Mangaluru, not just across the state of Karnataka, but across the country. In that video that you see on your screens, Suhas Shetty is seen lying on the road. Assailants deal blow after blow with sharp weapons. A large crowd is seen watching on. That has now prompted the city police to clamp down. There are prohibitory orders that have been issued. Multiple checkpoints have also been set up. But 24 hours later, Suhas Shetty's killers have not been tracked down.
बजरंग कार्यकर्ता सुहास शेट्टी की जिस तरह से निर्मम तरीके से सरे राह हत्या की गई, उसने एक बार पुनः कांग्रेस की जिहादी तुष्टीकरण की पोल खोल दी है। इसके अपराधियों को, उनके षड्यंत्रकारियों को गिरफ्तार करके कठोरतम सजा सुनिश्चित करनी चाहिए।
This is a law and order failure of Karnataka state. Nobody cares. When Siddaramaiah will come, Hindu Karyakarta will. Last time 36 Hindu Karyakarta killed by the PFI.
ಬಿಜೆಪಿಯವರು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಇಂಥ ಇನ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ಗಳನ್ನೇ ಹುಡುಕ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. राजकीय मागणी.
Let's open this up. Sudha Halkai, spokesperson of Karnataka BJP, is with us. Lavanya Ballal, spokesperson of the Congress. Thank you so much for joining us here on CNN News 18. Lavanya Ballal, let me begin by asking you. The concern is of targeted political violence. This seems like a pattern of revenge killings. Is that what the police is investigating? And if yes, then these concerns are legitimate, aren't they?
Good evening, Poonam. Hi. Very valid questions from your end. I would like to ask the channel, do you have the sound bite or the video bite of the victim's father? It's very relevant. I don't think we should hold any debates without playing that. Also, the SP of Mangalore, Anupam Agarwal, his sound bites, video bites are equally important to give a picture of this crime. At this point of time, I would like to say every life is very, very valuable for us. Poonam, I am from Mangalore, I am from coastal Karnataka, and it hurts me to see the place that I grew up in, where communal harmony was a thing, is now just a dream or just a mirage. It really breaks my heart to say this. It is the poor OBC youth who have been, whom we are losing every time in this part of Karnataka. This is not fair. If you listen to his father's video bite, you know what his father says. Leaders come and go for 4 days. The loss is for the parents to bear through their entire lives. Hindu karyakartas are being used for political reasons. This is exactly what his father says. You know, Suhas, if you look at Anupam Agarwal, our SP, he says, Suhas is a rowdy sheeter. He has 5 cases. He was the A1 accused in the 2022 murder. He is also an accused in the murder of Kirti, and he's got multiple attempt to murder cases on him, and he's a notorious person in the region. I'm just quoting Anupam Agarwal.
Sure.
Having said that, I would like to say today, the loss of Suhas Shetty is a loss for the entire region. We do not want to lose anyone. We want our youth to be protected. We want jobs for our youth. Poonam, this may look like a crazy thing I'm saying, but here is what I would like to request BJP also. Do not use our youth for your political agenda.
Sure, he was no saint, and that's what the Mangaluru City Police Commissioner had also come out and said. But vigilante justice like this, it doesn't have place in a civilized democracy like ours. And if he was a history sheeter, why was he not put under better surveillance?
According to the police officer in the same video bite, he's been warned multiple times by the police officers that he might be under threat and he should take care of his, security. He was told not to let his guard down by the police, is exactly what Anupam Agarwal, an upstanding officer, says. All I would like to say is, Poonam, this has gone on for too long in our region. The bloodbath has gone on for too long. Previously, when Bommai government was there was a huge case of Praveen Nettaru. You know, he was a BJP karyakarta who was murdered, and the BJP failed to give him any protection. In fact, they just
because the PFI accused were released by
Please don't interrupt.
Sure. So Sudha Halkai, sure. Okay, sure. So I take your point, Lavanya Ballal, that this something like this has happened even when the BJP was in power. If there was a failure to protect this individual, there was failure to protect a Praveen Nettaru as well. And speaking of Praveen Nettaru, Sudha Halkai, the man who allegedly killed Praveen Nettaru is also a name that has cropped up in this entire investigation. This man, Suhas Shetty, allegedly killed him. That's the murder case that he was under investigation for. So this all seems like a revenge killing of sorts. But this has been going on for 3 years or so.
Poonam,
who's to be held responsible for that?
Poonam, it's an absolutely sad and bad evening for all of us over here. First of all, he was a Hindu karyakarta. Second, what they told about Praveen Nattar, let me tell you, the person who killed Praveen Nattar was none other than a PFI agent, and he was released by Mr. Sidramaya along with the other 1500 accused. Why did Mr. Sidramaya give the 1500 accused people who were? No, please don't stop me. There are 450 cases which were filed against the PFI, and everything was given clean sheet by Mr. Sidramaya. And now Suhas Shetty, on the social media, there was a clear-cut threat, and they had posted, the criminals had posted that they're going to murder him, one more wicket is going to be down. Why did the police not take any action? We have seen so many cases taken. Sachin Panchal, even the one day previous before his death also, there was put on the Facebook, the police are not bothered to file an FIR, the police are not bothered to take any action, because this is absolutely under the guidance by the Congress government. From Kashmir to Karavali, from then to now, our Hindu brothers and sisters are butchered, targeted and butchered, and this is only because of the appeasement politics from Nehru till now, what these people are doing for the vote bank politics. Let Mr. Siddaramaiah give an explanation why the PFI accused were released, why he has given a clean sheet to all the Hubli riots. It is like Mr. Siddaramaiah take it, DK Shivakumar or the Home Minister. When there is any crime against in Karnataka which is taking place, take it Neha Hiremat murder case, or take it bomb blast or pro-Pakistani slogans, these three leaders are the first people to come on the social media and give a pro-statement against them, towards them, without any investigation by any of the investigation agencies. Mr. Siddaramaiah is like, मैं हूँ ना, आपको जो करना है करो.
But in this case, Sudha Halkai, that hasn't happened. Neither the Chief Minister nor the Home Minister of the state have come out and made any of those comments. They've in fact come out and said that no perpetrator will be spared.
Why did the police not give permission for Suhas Shetty to keep any weapons for his protection?
Because he's a history cheater, man. He's accused of murder.
No. Why did they not take any action when there was a threat openly put on the social media? Why did Mr. Siddaramaiah leave all these PFI agents and the Hubli riots people? Why is he giving the clean sheet to all these people? Take it from the division of the partition.
What has the Hubli riots case and the accused in that case got to do with this?
Wasn't the Praveen Nattar murderer, was he not a PFI agent? Was he not given a clean sheet by the Siddaramaiah? And when there was a bomb blast in the Rameshwar cafe, he is also associated with the PFI, and he is one of those people who were let go free by the Siddaramaiah government. And let us not forget, open up the pages and see. Mr. DK Shivakumar said that, they are our brothers. Bomb blast, one cooker blast in Mangaluru, Mr. DK Shivakumar said they are our brothers. You call these people, they are your brothers. Hindu Karyakartas, BJP Karyakartas.
Sudha Halkai, it's interesting you say that, because that same allegation is being made against the BJP today, that you are calling a murder accused, somebody who has at least 5 serious criminal cases against him, as a Hindu Karyakarta. But that's the allegation. It's an allegation that both sides face.
The law and order has completely collapsed.
If I may respond,
the crime rate against women is increased like anything, and there is loot going on.
So Lavanya Bala, this is about crime in general. So this is about crime in general, and since the Congress government has come to power, there have been questions that have been raised on every few months. There are these instances that come to the fore. Is it because there is no political will or intention to crack down on this, or is it just mere coincidence?
I will respond to that. If I may quickly respond to Dr. Sudha Halkai, I just have one question to Sudha Halkai and fellow BJP men. Our youth, especially the OBC youth in our region, join BJP party thinking they are building a better nation. Ma'am, why are you putting the lives of our youth at risk? Why is it that a Suhas Shetty
why are you
is a
people
murder
doing appeasement
accused in more
politics in
than 2
Karnataka?
murders?
Why are you doing
is
appeasement
Suhas
politics?
Shetty?
Why are you
Ma'am,
giving a clean
please
sheet
do not,
to the PFI?
please do not
Why
talk
did
while
you
I'm
give
talking.
clean sheet to the
Please do
PFI?
not
Please
interrupt.
answer today.
Poonam, I request you to
Okay,
mute your
okay, Sudha Halkai, I request you, please. I will give you your time to rebut. Let's keep this civil, one by one, please. Lavanya Bala, finish your point. I'll come back to you, Sudha Halkai.
I would like to say, why is it that a guy who is called as a rowdy sheeter by the Indian laws is Karyakarta in the party? Is it because this is what they train our youth to be in the BJP? Why are they using our youth as a fodder for their political agenda? His father today has clearly... I'm sorry, Poonam, can you please mute her? Can you please mute her, Poonam?
Sudha Halkai, please, I request you once again. Please, let her just finish her point.
Today, The youth who's died of by this murder, the guy who was murdered, his father clearly says our youth are being used by the politicians for their political agenda. This should be a wake-up call for the BJP. And having said that, I would like to reiterate what my CM has given a statement today. Every life is valuable for us, no matter who the person is. No matter.
But Lavanya Balal, when you quote the father of Suhas Shetty and say that politicians are using them, why is the interpretation of that is that the BJP used them? Politicians could be anybody from any party.
Because his son is a Karyakarta of the BJP party. It is not the Congress who has used him.
He was a member of the Bajrang Dal, if I'm not mistaken. He was a member of the Bajrang Dal, if I'm not mistaken. But Sudha Alka, you had a point to make. Go ahead.
Yeah, what about Naveen, who committed suicide in this one, Madikeri over there? He told, he was threatened, he was completely, abused by all the Congress leaders. The MLA's name also was mentioned over there. In his suicide note, no. In his suicide note, he has mentioned the Congress MLA over there. Why is that the normal Karyakartas, the BJP Karyakartas, even if they're doing, he was working for the welfare of the Madikeri and he was threatened for that, and they're going to put a rowdy shedding case, and FIR was filed. When it comes to the terrorists, when it comes to the butchers, you say they are our brothers, and they, you don't take any action
because she
on them.
keeps digressing.
So much of time, and you give
She's
them
bringing Pahalgam terror attack on this, Poonam. Poonam, if I may respond.
But Lavanya Balal, the reason why all of this is coming out and the allegations that the Congress faces is because of the history of the kind of decisions that the Congress has taken. The questions of appeasement are being raised because there were concessions that were made for PFI members by the Siddaramaiah government. Is that true or not?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You have taken
So
your word from Sudha Halkai.
No, I haven't. We've had evidence here to show that cases were dropped against certain members of one particular community by the Congress government, sometimes even against the wisdom that was shown by some of their own departments, including the police. That's not the BJP's word for it. There's documentary evidence for it. Yes, Lavanya Balal. Sudha Halkai, just a second. Lavanya Balal, go ahead.
So we have on record Mr. Bommai, before he was the Chief Minister of Karnataka, coming to Mangalore airport and promising rowdy sheeters in the tarmac of the airport that he will drop all cases against all the BJP party workers. Why is it that we do not have records of that with the media at all? I wonder, because there's a video of Mr. Bommai who is saying that I will drop
Dr. Halkai, please let her finish. I have very limited time left on this. Dr. Halkai, please let her finish.
I would like to say that we are committed to saving every life, and I request to the BJP not to use our youth as a fodder for their political agenda.
Sure.
Leaders' kids are safe in their houses.
Don't put this allegation. Sure. So Dr. Halkai, I want to give you the last word before I wrap this up. The allegation against the BJP is that you politicize every single matter, every single incident that happens in any opposition ruled states, because that's what your politics depends on. Let the probe happen. It's been 24 hours now. The investigation is on. Let the investigation get completed and we'll find out what happens.
Our only motto is nation first, and we will do anything to save our nation and the citizens of our nation. We don't do
Now Lavanya Balal, give her the same courtesy I asked her to give you. Please let her finish.
We don't do this cheap politics of appeasement since Jawaharlal Nehru till date, till the Siddaramaiah government. You people are doing appeasement politics, vote bank politics, and you people, given a chance, you people will sell our nation. You forget about Hindus. You don't have any sympathy. The apathy is today.
But okay, Dr. Halkai. But Dr. Halkai, tell me this.
It has come to the rogue state.
Okay, but Dr. Halkai, tell me this. The Praveen Nettar murder happened during the BJP's rule?
Of course. That
his alleged killer was also killed. That also happened during BJP's rule?
See, Poonam, take it a history.
What happened to appeasement then? Whose appeasement was that?
More than 60% of the cases, crimes in Karnataka is increased against women. The number of murders have increased. More than 3,000 farmers have committed suicide.
So then Sudha Halkai, let me get this right. Is this about deteriorating law and order in Karnataka, or is this about this particular case?
No, this is absolutely the law and order in Karnataka is collapsed. It's not gone below the carpet, it's gone completely under the ground. There is no such thing. The government doesn't exist in Karnataka. It is existing only for the jihadi elements and for the fringe elements, not for the common people and not for the BJP or for the Hindu Karyakartas, take it as girl or boy, they are butchered over here.
Unfortunately, I'm completely out of time. I have to leave it there. I thank you both for joining us here on this edition of Brass Tacks. Before I wrap up this edition, I want to get you a sense of what the National Capital Region woke up to this morning. An intense thunderstorm hit the National Capital. It led to widespread waterlogging in the city. There were traffic snarls. Unfortunately, 4 people lost their lives as well. Given Delhi's status as the national capital and its access to 3 radar systems, why wasn't the weather prediction more accurate? And most importantly, why did we see the sudden turn in the weather at all in May? My colleague Shrishti Chaudhary decodes for us.
Well, intense weather hit the national capital on Friday with nearly 77 mm rainfall and winds gusting up to 80 km per hour. Now, the India Meteorological Department has raised its severe weather warning for Delhi and also warned of isolated heavy rainfall in parts of Haryana, Western UP, as well as Chandigarh. Now, according to the data provided by the Weather Department, nearly 77 mm rainfall was recorded at the main Safdarjung Observatory in just a few hours early on Friday, while it was about 78 mm at Pahalgam. There were winds gusting up to 40 to even 80 km per hour in various parts of the city, along with thunderstorm and the rain that fell over the city. The Weather Department says that this freaky weather was really brought by this sudden incursion of moisture and winds from both the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal, which converged over Delhi and caused this storm. There were also strong wind movement. There was a cyclonic circulation over Rajasthan, 2 parts over Rajasthan, northeast and southwest. There was another cyclonic circulation over Madhya Pradesh as well. So all these systems together triggered this intense weather over Delhi. Apart from that, this has brought the much needed respite from the prevailing heat conditions over the national capital. Remember, the temperatures were hovering around 36 to 39 degrees Celsius for the past few days. Now, as per the latest assessment, the temperature was recorded at around 18 degrees Celsius at Pahalgam, around 19 degrees Celsius at Safdarjung. So definitely a much needed relief from the soaring temperatures. Also, remember, the Weather Department had forecasted an intense weather disturbance which was expected to impact the Western Himalayan region. IMD had warned of a good amount of rainfall over not just Delhi but various parts of northwest India. In the last 24 hours, we have also seen some amount of snowfall in upper reaches of Uttarakhand and Jammu and Kashmir. Now, what is the latest forecast? Now, according to the Weather Department, this weather is likely to continue for at least 24 to 48 hours. But overall, they have extended the light to moderate rainfall warnings for Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Bihar, West Bengal, Sikkim and even Orissa and Madhya Pradesh till about 6th of May. So during this period, the temperatures will also not surge as much and there will be relief from the heat wave, because this thunderstorm related activity has definitely provided that much needed break from the soaring temperatures. It's also important for us to understand that thunderstorms are very common during this period, especially periods of intense heat at peak summer in May, because of which the thunderstorms develop and provide a break from the heat wave conditions. Also, to give you a recap of the weather forecast for May, the India Met Department had predicted above normal rainfall over the entire country, around 109% above the long period average. So that is good, considering May is the peak of summer season in India. Although 1 to 3 days of heatwave conditions are expected in various parts of the country, some states like Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh may see at least 1 to 4 heatwave days more than usual during this month. As of now, we can all see that the weather is really pleasant across the entire city, and the rain has definitely brought the temperatures down. But the Weather Department urges caution and has issued advisory in terms of the gusty winds and thunderstorms during this period.
Government
sources have revealed to CNN News 18 that post the Pahalgam terror strike, the US is following the same drill with India and Pakistan as it did after Uri and Pulwama terror strikes, which is backing India's limited counter-strike on terrorism while urging no further escalation, saying India has a right to defend itself, urging for India-Pakistan direct communication and telling Pakistan to act against terrorists on its soil. Let me now go to my colleague Aman Sharma, who has got us this information. Aman, take us through the details of the communication that has happened between the US and Pakistan. Clear statement, clear message is being sent out to Pakistan that you need to work as far as terrorism in Pakistan is concerned.
Well, absolutely, Sharon. What the US is currently doing is following the same, de-escalation playbook that we can say with both India and Pakistan. We have seen the US say the same things even after Uri and Pulwama. But India is very clear that India will do what it needs to do. India will do its job. The Prime Minister, the Home Minister have promised the harshest response against the perpetrators and planners of the Pahalgam terror strikes. The Defence Minister yesterday, for the first time, has named Pakistan for supporting, training and funding terrorists while speaking to his counterpart. So essentially what the US is trying to tell India is that, look, we back your limited counter-strike on terrorism. You have the right to defend yourself, but don't further, escalate matters. It is urging India-Pakistan direct communication, telling Pakistan also to act against terrorists on its soil. And this is something that, we saw US also doing in 2019 and 2016. If I remember correctly, 2019, we had John Bolton, the then US NSA, telling Mr. Ajit Doval that, America supports India's right to self-defense. We saw the same line from the US Secretary of Defense yesterday to Mr. Rajnath Singh, saying that US does support India's right to defend itself. But you also see the statement of J.D. Vance on Thursday, where he has said that he hopes that India responds to the Pahalgam terror conflict in a way that does not lead to a broader regional conflict. This shows that US backs a limited strike for India. In 2019 also, Mr. Pompeo at that time, had termed India's strike at Balakot as a counter-terrorism post. And Donald Trump, then who was also the US president, had said that, he understands why Delhi was seeking a strong response to the Pulwama strike. But US wants India to not go any further. And this is what, seems like the textbook that let's de-escalate. But India is very, very clear that, it has promised the harshest response. And, the US is saying what it has to say. The India will do what it has to do. That seems a clear strategy inside the Indian government. So we'll have to wait a few days to see how this plays out. But one thing is very clear that, the message that in post Uri and post Pulwama, India did carry out surgical strikes inside Pakistan. And right now also the Prime Minister has promised the harshest response.
All right. Many thanks, Aman, for getting us that exclusive information as far as the entire escalation between India and Pakistan is concerned. I request Aman as well as Siddhant to please stay with us as we are getting a series of reaction on this. Let's listen to that first.
We are monitoring closely. Yesterday, for those of you who were unaware of this, the Secretary spoke with Indian External Affairs Minister Jay Shankar and Pakistani Prime Minister Sharif. As the President articulated to Prime Minister Modi last week, the United States stands strong with India against terrorism, and Prime Minister Modi has our full support. The Secretary encouraged both countries to work toward a responsible solution.
As a position of principle, we strongly condemn any act of terrorism, and this is what we did on this heinous terrorist attack that took place in Pahalgam. So we had the death of innocent civilians, and we express our condolences to the government, India, Nepal, and the families of victims. This is a position of principle. We condemn terrorism in all its forms everywhere it is happening. On the other hand, we are, concerned about this tension which is mounting in the region. Two very big countries. Of course, India is far more bigger, but Pakistan is bigger. If compared with Greece, they are far more bigger than us. So the size and the volume is of a different nature. So there, I think we also join calls for de-escalation and dialogue so that the situation does not spiral out of control.
Viewers, it's been 10 days since the Pahalgam carnage.
We were here that night, all of us, witnessing those horrific scenes. We were all angry viewers, and we all wanted some sort of retribution. Ever since that day, viewers, tensions between India and Pakistan are soaring. The Indian government at the center, led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, you all know, has put Pakistan on notice. And since that day, viewers, we've taken a whole raft of diplomatic and other non-kinetic initiatives to punish Pakistan. Some of them are working. On the kinetic options, India is playing the waiting game. And this uncertainty is making Pakistan very, very, very anxious. Today,